Hi everybody, I'm back with another 8.5 by 11 layout, and I'm using the Janglin kit and add-on for this process video. And there's my photo that I'm going to be scrapbooking. And so I used some white cardstock from my stash because there is white cardstock in this kit, but I had to use a good portion of it for my last layout, so I had to cut a strip off and use it up. So I took a piece of cardstock from my stash, that white cardstock, and then I used the cut file and backed it with, what is that again now? I'm going to show you the paper that I use at the end, but that's the Pink Fresh Studio, the Up in the Clouds. Yeah, the Up in the Clouds line that they have. And so I think that little paper went really well because there's a few little red hearts, and so it adds a little bit more red into the layout. And there's also dashed lines, and it's kind of watercolored looking. And so I thought it went really well because there's little details in the photo that you can see, peeking through the cut file there. And what did I do? It's 6 inches wide because my entire photo is 6 inches wide by 3 tall, I think I did. And so I didn't really worry about the height of the cut file. I just wanted to make it 6 inches wide so it would be as wide as my photo and it would just read as one whole unit kind of thing. And then the clouds and that little heart with the arrow there is a silhouette cut file. And so I just, because it's 12 by 12 piece of paper, I had room left, so I just cut a few items out as I was cutting the cut file, the Scraptastic Club cut file on my silhouette mat. And that handy dandy little glassine bag there, that's what your little flares for your kits come in. And so I just keep everything when I get my kits because sometimes this stuff comes in really handy. And so the top flap was a little long, so I trimmed it down on a curve, and then I folded it up crooked because when I place my tab straight across, the tag will end up at an angle like I wanted. And so it's kind of a freebie that your flares come in, and they're great for little tags and tucking little things into. So there you go. And what else am I doing? I'm going to bend up the clouds here now that I think the glue is taken. And this love with the arrow is another silhouette cut file. And so I'm using my tweezers as a clamp there because they're reverse tweezers. I'm holding that love in place so that I can get it stapled down. I ran out of staples there. And what else am I doing here? Oh, right, that's from the sticker sheet, the Jelly Bean Soup sticker sheet. Summer Red Raspberry Soup is the name of the sticker sheet. And so I took some not crochet thread, some upholstery thread, and I wound it around that flag there, that banner. And what I did is I put 2 glue dots on the back of it, and I wound the thread around it, and then the glue dots just keep your thread from slipping off because upholstery thread it doesn't really stay put very well if you don't kind of, tack it down. And then that enabled me to kind of, get it on there. And here I go with my title. That's also a silhouette cut. And it says, "At this very moment." I know it's hard to read, I think, on the video, but it's easier to read in real life. And, I've got it white on white, but it's a big title, and I didn't really want it to scream out, so that's why I did the white on white. And then I just filled the back of it with little pop dots to get it to stand up. And so I'm using my little homemade pop dots, so I have to put glue on the one side. There's only adhesive on one side of them, so that's why I have to use the glue. But I don't mind using the glue, especially for stuff like this, because then if it's self-adhesive, there I'm showing you the upholstery thread. If it's self-adhesive, then once it's down, that's kind of it. You got to kind of really pull it to get it up, and then you bend your words. And with wet glue, it gives you a couple of seconds, before the glue grabs to slide it into place. Oh, there's those acrylics. Oh, wow. They're really fun, these acrylic pieces. So I'm using Glossy Accents, tiny little dabs of it. It looks like I'm putting a lot on, but what I'm doing is smearing a whole layer, because I found that if you put an entire thin layer covering the whole thing, when you glue it down, you don't see the glue. But if you only put it in spots, I find that you can see where the glue starts and stops. So there's a little tip for you. And then I'm doing the same thing on this cloud. It looked like I put tons, but what I was doing was smearing it around to get a thin, even little layer of it. And now I'm going to go with these wood buttons here. I'm going to try and find a home for these guys because they're super cute and I really want them on there. So that little blue one is going to move. He's going to move a couple times. And the white ones, I've got them where I figure that they'll look good. And I'm just going to get this blue guy. And so this is Mr. Man when we were on vacation some years ago. We were camping, the photo here, and he was, there you go, I'm showing you the paper I told you about and the labels. He was sitting on the dock fishing, and I walked by and saw him, and I snapped a few shots, and I'm glad I did because it's one of my favorite photos of him. So there we go, I'm getting that blue guy down. And that's about it for this one. I've just got some photos to show you.